Hey everybody, what's going on? Brother John here. I just figure, open up a chat, open up a hangout, shoot the breeze, see if anybody's out there. Maybe you're bored, you need somebody to talk to. Come on in. This is, I guess, we're just calling it Afternoon Delight, Volume 2. So we got no viewers currently, and we just opened up the room. See what happens. I know, kind of early for me to open up a room, but who knows? Hi, Eve. Hi, Eve. Eve, you keeping it real? Eve. Are you there? I don't hear you. Well, and she just left. Okay, well, we had Eve real in here, and I don't know. She didn't even say hello. And Eve, if you're listening, you do know me. But anyway. Do, 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 do.
Okay, can you hear me now? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes. Hi, Eve.
Hey, can you hear me now?
I hear you now.
Okay, I had mic problems, so I had to exit out and fix them.
Oh, okay. And for a minute there, I thought you were being rude.
Nah, yeah, I decided to come in and be like, hey, here I am, but I'm leaving now because you ain't worth it. No, I'm joking. Uh, do you have a topic for your show?
No, this is just a spur of the moment thing, and sometimes that works, but no topic really. It was just usually I open up a room later on in the evening, but nothing in particular. Anything on your mind you want to talk about?
Oh, I've had a lot on my mind today. I've
Um,
been talking to my cousin and Tanya, my best friend, for quite some time
mhm.
about some things that we discussed in 13 Heathens Hangout last night. I don't know if you've seen that.
I caught a couple of his hangouts. I was started listening, but I don't think I heard the whole. I don't think I listened to the whole thing. Maybe about the first 20 minutes.
Well, I am what you would consider a spiritual atheist. So a lot of times when I say that, I have to kind of explain myself to people. And last night, me and 13s has actually talked about this before, and he wanted to entertain it last night on his hangout. And so he went around kind of to his panel and asked everybody,
I lost you again, Eve.
"Hello,
There you go. Go ahead.
uh, where did you lose me at?"
Last night on 13 Heathens Hangout, you were starting to talk about your spiritual atheism. Eve, I lost you again. Seems you're having a problem with your
Are
mic.
you there? No, I accidentally hit the mute button on that one.
Okay.
But he went around and asked the panel what their definition of spirituality was and what their definition of soul was. And my definition of spirituality would be a lot to do with emotions and feelings, the feeling of awe, the feeling of peace, and also altered mind states, which you can actually put yourself into, and self-reflection, where my definition of soul would be the depths of myself, my being,
Mhm.
um, which is still being discovered because the depths of who I am and my being There's a lot of things that I don't know about myself because I believe that society, in a way, has formed each one of us, and so I think that that we can try to discover who we are absent of how society has formed us, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Um, a lot of people's identity are wrapped up in like their profession or, husband, wife, mother, or the degrees they have. So, yeah, it goes much deeper than that. Yeah. As far as soul, I always thought of soul as your will and your emotions. And for me, spirituality, um, I mean, for me, okay, I don't pray per se. I will say thanks. I just have an attitude of gratitude just to be thankful for the day and what I have and stuff like that. But most of my spirituality comes from, I guess, meditation and contemplation, being connected with nature. Um, Not so much, I don't get hung up on the supernatural or anything like that, as I once did when I was a Christian, thinking that my spirituality was based on exercising some kind of gift from the Holy Spirit, or my spirituality was defined on or how many times I go to church and stuff like that. I think that tends to be a definition of many people's spirituality or being spiritual.
Well, I kind of think, and this is what I was kind of saying in the hangout last night, I think that religion has actually hijacked the term or even the notion of spirituality and the soul. I think that as far as at least my definition and what I provided for you earlier, and it is my definition. The words and communication is subjective. It can be changed depending on the individual. That's why it's important to find out what someone's stances are before analyzing their position. Um, but with my definition that I supplied earlier, I think that everyone can be spiritual. Huh? Can you hear me?
I hear you now. Yep.
Yeah, I think that everyone can be spiritual and still not believe that there has to be some supernatural notion to it. Um, and that's why I think that religion has kind of hijacked it for themselves. They put a monopoly on it. If you're not from my religion, then you're not truly spiritual. You're spiritually dead. Yeah, I don't buy that for 1 second.
So your spirituality again is more connected with nature.
But it's connected with nature, but it's also, self-reflection, it's connection with other human beings. The connection that I think we have with nature and human beings, I know a lot of people entertain the thought, and I think it's interesting, although I don't find it to be true, at least so far. A lot of people entertain the thought of collective consciousness, um, which is kind of a new agey term and thought. But with me, I think that the reason why we have such a connection with nature and with humanity is because naturally, and this is even in science, we're all made of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We all have these similarities, and I think that is why. I don't think it has to imply some supernatural thing that we can't even explain.
I lost it again, but I'm assuming you're going to say implies some God.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change my mic or something evidently because this one's giving me problems.
Yeah.
All right, try to come back. Okay, can you
Okay.
hear me? I'll try to come back after this.
I hear you. You want to change your mic?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and change my mic.
Okay. We'll just wait for Eve to get her mic on. I think we have one viewer out there. Welcome. If you want to come on in, say hello, share your perspective.
Why, hello.
Cerberus, man, I was wondering about you because I haven't seen you in a couple days.
Oh, we had some emergencies and I was just wore out.
Are you there? Are you having mic problems too?
Oh, I'm not. I mean, other people are, but...
Okay. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Sasha's supposed to invite me for his interview thing here in a few minutes.
Oh, okay. I look forward to that. I guess that's scheduled for, well, 6 o'clock Eastern time here.
Yeah.
Gonna talk about Mason?
I think so. I don't know why else he would want to talk to me, but...
Yeah. Yeah, he said he didn't get he couldn't get in contact with you a couple of days, and I mentioned to him, yeah, I haven't seen you in a couple of days in the chats either. And he was like, well, if Cerberus doesn't work out, do you want to do an interview? I said, well, I'd like to kind of know what the questions are going to be and everything. But I'd be willing to do it. But then he said he got in contact with you, and you're all good to go, so that's good.
As far as I know, he hasn't sent me anything for a couple days. Because he was going to do something Monday or Tuesday. And
Okay.
I was home for a couple hours around the time he said he was going to do it, and then he never sent me anything.
Oh. All right. I just had Eve in here. You know Eve real, I don't know. She was having mic problems. Yeah, she had mic problems. I don't know if she was going to switch her mic up. She was talking about, we were talking about spirituality. I don't know if you heard any of the conversation.
I just got the invite.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even know it was up yet.
Well, she was mentioning she was in a hangout last night, and she was defining herself as a spiritual atheist, and what that actually meant. I guess there can be confusion over that kind of terminology.
What exactly would that be?
Well, she was mentioning pretty much having a connection with people and being contemplative and realizing more of who she is and stuff. So to her, that was her I guess spirituality. Without the need for anything supernatural. I don't know. Hi, Art. How you doing?
Hello. Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
How are you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
So the topic is, I heard, spirituality, right?
I guess. Well, Eve kind of got us started, but we lost her.
Oh.
That's kind of what we were talking about. So it was just something to talk about.
So, yeah, I never actually understand what spirituality is. If you have a definition, anyone?
It can mean a lot of things as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, well, I mean, when Eve was talking, and I kind of agree, it's kind of subjective, I guess it all depends on who you ask. I was saying, for me, and I believe in a God or source. I don't have no name on it or anything, force, whatever. But I believe this force permeates all through nature and stuff. And so for me, spirituality is just connecting with nature. It could just be, looking up in the sky and being in awe. It can just enjoying a beautiful view, and just being around nature and just meditating, being contemplative, that kind of feel, and just kind of feeling connected to everything.
Well, that sounds good. Yeah, I am all for that. Yes. Even though I'm an atheist.
I hear you. Well, Eve, I don't know if Eve Real was using this term spiritual atheists. Are you familiar with that?
Say again, please.
Eve was expressing that she's um, a spiritual atheist.
Oh, spiritual atheist.
Have you ever heard that term?
Yeah, I kind of did, yeah, and I'm not sure what it means because again, like you said, spirituality have different definitions, so I'm not exactly sure what people mean by that often.
Yeah.
But I guess if spirituality is what you said right now, being in awe of the universe and being feeling connected with nature, human condition, etc., then yeah, sure, we all are in fact spiritual atheists. Well, I mean, not all humans are spiritual atheists, but all atheists are essentially spiritual. It's just part of being a human.
Yeah. Cerberus, I know, had to. He was going to do an interview with Sasha, so that's probably why he left.
Oh, Sasha, you mean the guy that already hang out?
Sasha, he's very into Egyptology and mind-altering drugs.
he would really see eye to eye with lyrical Orion, especially on that last thing.
So Sasha, yeah, he's doing an interview. We're gonna interview Cerberus, and for some reason, I don't know. Sasha told me he couldn't get into my room yesterday because it was blocked by somebody, which I don't have no idea who that is. So
Yeah, it happens. It might be even a bug of sorts, perhaps, because I had the same problem sometimes, and people who I trust, at least, and who had no reason to lie, said that no, I don't have you blocked at all. But still, didn't work. Well, anyway.
yeah, this will be the constant complaint. I really, if someone's hosting a room, just because someone else has someone blocked, shouldn't prevent them from coming in.
Yeah, I see you. I hear you. Yeah. Well, all right. So, are there any more people coming? More,
I have no idea. I mean, this is usually pretty. This is just early for me to really have a room. That might be the case. It's just too early. I just figured, I was just feeling, a little bored. I figured, let me throw up a room and see if anybody wanted to chit chat about anything. If not, I'll, I don't know, do it later.
Right.
Unless you have mind.
Say again. The last thing.
Unless there's something on your mind, Art, that you want to
Well,
talk about.
damn, there's a lot of things on my mind always. But that's kind of a problem. It's kind of hard to choose. And hard
Okay.
to, I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about morality and the theistic, atheistic morality, its pros and cons, and evidence for God and reasons for rejecting God, etc., etc. Just a lot of things, really. And it's okay. So you're a deist, if I understand correctly, right?
Yeah, I'm a deist.
Oh.
Yeah.
By any chance, do you know Shannon Rockery? Or?
Shanna?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, I know Shanna. We've spoken.
All right. Yeah, she's a deist also.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Okay, so
It was good meeting her. To find out there was another deist out there.
yeah, no kidding. You're rare, guys. You are rare here.
Very interesting. Last week, if you go to my channel, if you ever want to check it out, we were fortunate. We had like 4 deists in the room, which is very unusual.
Wow, that's like a celestial event, and a lot of celestial bodies. So rare.
Yeah. So if you go check my channel out, it was on deism. There's a guy named Mark who I know for a few years. He has his channel. Hey John, how you doing?
Hey, what's happening? Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. Mark has his channel called Deist Reality. So it was his first hangout, which was cool. And then we had Gary. You might know Gary Rhodes. He's been in a couple of the rooms, and he's a deist.
Gary, is that a guy with a hamster?
No, he usually has His avatar is usually what is that comedian name? This young black comedian. I forgot his name. He uses that as
Oh,
his avatar.
oh, I think I know. Yeah, okay, I know who you're talking about.
Gary Rhodes.
Right. I didn't
Yeah.
know he's a deist. Gee, he was also so silent. He was always so silent in
Yeah.
Hangouts. So I like these kind of people that just come on and be silent. Leaves a lot of space for me to talk.
I put a video out. Well, it was a couple of years ago, and I just reposted it. And actually, I just sent it as a response to Galaxy Dreams' latest video. Um, she's starting to read the book, History of God, and that's one book I would like to read. Um, but she was talking about how God has evolved along with mankind, or religions have. So she was touching upon that. But I sent her a video response, and uh, I think about the God question like this. No matter how, I mean, I'm no scientist. I'm no cosmologist. Oh, we lost John. Oh, he's probably back. But, you know, if we go to examine even down to the single cell, I mean, and that question is still there, where did that cell? So my thing is, can God be potential? The very potential for something to come into existence, can we call that, for lack of better words, God?
The potential for something to come into existence.
Yes.
Not in, I don't understand. I cannot picture that. Is that a, what is that? I'm just curious. Can you elaborate, please?
The potential, the very possibility, the um,
Can you maybe reword it?
I'll try. I guess instead of saying that something coming from nothing, I mean that question's always going to be there. I would say even for the strongest atheist, they can explain why, they'll offer explanations to evolution and stuff of how things came about. Okay, but you're always going to go into this like infinite regress, right? And
Yeah, no.
ultimately there has to be some kind of source. And yet you can say then you'll have an infinite regression for that. I mean, I think at some point we have to come to the place where things are just is. The universe just is, always was. It just there, and we have to
Yeah.
accept it. But the potential to bring about the light from this, the universe, the source, or the dark matter that we're trying to discover now, the dark energy, um, uh, can we call that God? Can we call that infinite mind or the collective conscious or whatever? But I guess that's what I'm trying to say. The potential. Where's the potential for these things to come from? Can that be God? I don't know if I explained it any better for you.
I'm still kind of puzzled by that thing, the potential, for things to come into existence being a god. I don't really understand. But okay, to respond to what you kind of said, about what do you say, the infinite regress. As a
Hmm.
naturalist, you don't have to fall into this problem at all. You can just propose that some phenomena is in fact the ultimate cause. Right? You don't have to have this problem. Hello, by the way, Rob and Heavy Howler.
We don't
Hello.
have. Hey, how you doing, Heavy?
Oh, hey. I'm doing better. I've had a bad allergy there for a bit.
Oh, good. I hope you're feeling better.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, get Art. What were you saying?
What y'all doing?
Oh, we're talking about God, of course. God being potential and all that stuff. Okay. Yes.
You mean there is one? Sorry. Not sorry.
Yes, and it's you.
No, I'm not a solipsist.
You are God having a heavy horror experience.
That's a nice idea. Yeah. I would like that. Yeah. I am me having the God experience. Oh no, well, you said I'm God having my experience.
God having the art experience.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Eh, I don't know. I'm very skeptical. I'm a skeptical, rational person.
I hear
At
you.
least at least I like to think that I am. I don't know. There are many possibilities. We might all be in a matrix. We might all be just information from some perspective.
Well, I think we need to reboot.
Oh yeah, a long time ago. New software upgrade.
And Rob, how are you doing, man?
Good, thanks, John. Yeah, I'm just popping by short quickly because I've got to go off to some training for work. So
Training for work?
yeah, well, since I finished the book and there's no revenue coming in, I've got to face reality, and it's back to work until the book launches, and maybe that'll get me some extra revenue. But if not, I've got to go back and work.
I hear you. What kind of work are you getting training for? You don't mind.
Aged care. Yeah, aged care. So just as a carer, it's a really low-level job.
Care?
I mean, I could,
home care?
hey?
Did you say like home care?
Yeah, home care and in residential care.
Oh, okay. So people who are like elderly or handicapped or
yeah. Just 1 minute, John. I've actually got to go to a call.
okay.
Sorry.
All right. No problem. You go to your call. I hear too many. Oh God, I hear horror stories about here in the States, especially like in the cities, where these home care employees are just very abusive towards some of their patients or taking advantage of them. It's crazy. It's sad. I hope that's not the case where Rob's at, but I'm sure Rob will do. I'm sure Rob will do a good job, though, knowing the little I do know from here. He'll probably talk their ear off. If anything, it could be a good, it could be for the right person. It could be rewarding.
Well,
You know?
if they get a little bit of help from hospice, that would be great too.
Mhm.
Because I know hospice is an excellent organization. I've been on the receiving end of hospice care, not for myself, but for people I've known, real good friends with, and even a family member. They do an excellent job, and plus they can help teach um, people like maybe even people that live in the same home. They can help teach them how to care for someone better that really needs a lot of help too.
Yeah.
If you're going through you're going through a real good organization, it works out really good. I guess some of the organizations that do the home care, they may not be I can't think of the word. Like no one's checking up on them like they should to make sure that they're doing a good job.
Accountability.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I had my friend. Well, he passed a couple of years ago, but he was in a car accident. He was half paralyzed, and so he was entitled to have somebody, have home care and will come by, just to do chores for him and stuff like that. But I think for him mostly, since he was able to take care of most of him stuff, and he wanted to be more independent, and so usually they were coming by just to give him company, just to have some company. To a different place.
And I think also through hospice, they can, depending on what the people want, they can actually get you in touch with people that can come in, maybe come by to check up, not to stay like all day and all night, but to come by through the day to see if you need anything, or to come by and bring meals, stuff like that.
Yeah. You guys, well, we got, I know some people, they can get you've heard of Meals on Wheels, I'm sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of do. They just bring meals, but usually you get the regular volunteers and come by and chat with you for a few.
Oh yeah.
Hmm. So how's your day going there?
Well, me.
Yeah,
Well, better than yesterday. I didn't work today. I was feeling too bad.
that's
Didn't
it.
work yesterday either. I have a bad allergy to certain kinds of dust, and apparently I got in some, and it kicked my butt. I should be better tomorrow though.
Hmm.
I got some medicine Monday. I've got something to take, the nasal spray and allergy stuff. I mean, I still, still felt pretty bad for a couple of days, but at least it's not like for the whole week. 'Cause I have had that stuff hit me, and I tried to take care of it too late, and I'd be sick for a whole week. Nasty.
So it's mostly dust you're allergic to, or is
It's certain kinds, not all dust. It's just something about a certain kind of dust gets me.
what kind of dust?
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
Yeah, I could be up dusty. I could be up there all day moving stuff, moving things around, whatever, no problem. And then I could be at work or something and pick up something that had some dust on it or something, and then it would hit me, and I'd start sneezing and drooling and feeling really really bad. It's weird. It's weird.
Does this happen all year long?
Hmm. Oh, I maybe about once a year I get it. It's just something I get exposed to, and it drives my sinuses crazy.
So it's a certain kind of dust that's around once a year, and it
Well,
might,
well, see,
right?
most times I avoid situations with a lot of dust, but this time I couldn't avoid it. We had to do a lot of cleaning up of this one place that had a lot of drywall dust,
Hmm.
and I think that coupled with some other stuff did it.
Okay, kind of narrowing it down now, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's just weird. You get old and everything just starts falling apart.
Well, did you wear a mask while you were dealing with the
Yeah,
drywall?
I sure did.
Yeah, okay.
And it may have been stuff that settled on my clothing or something, or my beard. I don't know.
Yeah, probably just yeah, those little particles got in there and just started irritating it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I hear you.
Hey guys, hate to kind of break up this your discussion here. Do you know G-Man?
Well, of course, the
Who's
squeak.
I haven't had an involvement with him, but I know pretty much good who he is.
Right,
I've
he's
had
actually.
I've had limited involvement with him. I've seen some things he's done and some in the chats, and I to tell you the truth, I think this. I'm sure listen. I'm sure he's a cool guy outside of preaching his Christianity. I actually saw a video which I was very impressed with. He was talking about building up upper body strength, which I think he did a very good job there. Um, but as far as his preaching, his theology just gets me annoying.
Yeah, Art, whatever you're bringing up, I'm pretty sure it's a lot better than talking about my allergies. Go for it.
Well, yes, well, especially to people who like to talk about religion. Yeah. Well, yeah, he's actually he's actually live right now, but he's just doing a rant, basically. It's called Human Responsibility and Those Who Play the Blame Game. And he's talking about basically how atheists criticize the Bible and God, by saying that, God is so evil, but they don't read enough about God. They don't see the good things that God did. And that's so far as I've seen it. Yeah, that's his basic argument.
Oh yeah, yeah. My view on it is I'm not talking down about God because I don't believe He exists. When I say something, it's about the writings in this book.
Right, and it's also his character as described in the Bible. I mean,
Yeah.
it is of course fair to point out that he did some good things, but it still doesn't make him a moral person. It's like saying that, oh, Hitler isn't that bad. He also opened some schools, and he also loved dogs, yeah, but that doesn't excuse the genocide that he did. But it's a similar situation. In fact, it's even worse because God has made at least, what, 2, 3 genocides? 4 genocides if you count the global flood.
It's kind of like if there really is a God, he's getting a bad rap from a lot of these religions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think if there is a God, and when Christians actually go to heaven, and they will tell him, oh, God, praise thee, the Father of Jesus, the God's going to be, what? You thought I'm that God? You know what? Go sit on this cloud and think about that.
Somebody brought up a very interesting scripture. I'll post it in the chat. This is one I think G-Man needs to learn.
Oh, well, I guess it's part of his personality to cause a lot of stuff anyway. Now, what's so weird is there's something about him, something in his personality that attracts people to him.
Well, he's
and he's not using that, I don't know, gift, talent correctly. I don't think.
Yeah, he has some talents.
Yeah,
definitely. Some of them are negative, but
well, yeah,
they are talents. Well, he's kind of interesting to engage because he has some original thoughts, even though they're bad. They're original, and it's something to talk about, definitely.
Like what kind of original thoughts?
Well, his answered prayer argument. Not specifically the answered prayer argument, but the way he defends it and the way he proposes it. It's of course ridiculous and irrational, but at least it's something to deal with. Well, by the way, can you maybe invite the well-known theists, Michael, I don't know, G-Man for that matter?
Well, I know Beckel's on my he's on my invite list. I haven't seen him. He hasn't come by. I think he's actually doing a chat and as well in an hour or so. I saw something in my feed.
I think it's 5 hours from now.
Okay.
I think I even saw you comment on that. You asked if they needed theists, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about
5 hours. Okay. The other one. Oh, you know what? The other one was going to be. I thought I might take interest in is New Covenant Group is going to be with Richard Carrier.
Wait, say again?
Richard Carrier is going to be on the New Covenant Group hangout. Yeah, in about an hour, I think.
Who's Richard Carrier? I don't think I've heard of him.
Oh, he's the atheist. He's the one who supported the Atheist Plus movement, and also he is the one who is a Christ mythicist. He believes Christ is a myth, and he presents scholarly arguments for that.
Oh, okay.
Although I think it's completely unnecessary. It's fighting an uphill battle. It doesn't matter if he existed. What matters is that there is no reason and evidence to think that he was God and performed any miracles. That's the main thing, in my view, at least. Well, that's interesting.
That's how I see it too. Yeah.
It's kind of the knee-jerk reaction that people might have, especially non-believers, when even the smallest thing about God and Christianity has to be challenged. Even before even looking at the whole argument, you are essentially fighting an uphill battle, where just beside you is a nice downhill battle that you can just rain hell on these theists, because they have no case at all for there being any good evidence, for believing that Jesus made miracles, because there's so many contradictions, so many inconsistencies for believing these testimonies and not believing all the other testimonies that people present today and in history. Well, anyway.
I think Robert M. Price is like that too. They call him the Bible geek. He proposes Christ, as a myth. That's kind of where he comes from.
Oh, right, yeah. There are quite a few atheists like that. And I'm really disappointed. Yeah,
Of course, that would still be like saying he didn't exist. But
oh, yeah.
I just wonder what difference it makes saying he's a myth, instead of going, he don't exist.
Well, maybe to add insult to injury, perhaps.
Oh. Yeah, that New Covenant group, that's pretty cool. I like watching a lot of their stuff.
Oh, yeah, when I first found out about them, that was so awesome. My faith in humanity was renewed, literally, seriously. Just amazing that theists and atheists can have civilized discussions and agree and disagree on things normally, civilized way, not to have to shout and throw a fit.
Mm-hmm.
And also, these theists are really different. These are not normal, Christians that you see. These are very highly educated, highly enlightened people, and it really shows in their view of God also. The idea of hell, the idea of eternal torture, just doesn't stick with them.
Yeah, my understanding of hell as we conceive it now, or what we hear about it, mostly came from when they did the King James version. It was like stuff was not like in the older writings or something.
Yeah, I've heard
Concept of hell as we know it now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and actually, I've heard of one theist called Aaron. He's also in these hangouts quite regularly. He is a preterist, I think, and he doesn't hold that the hell in the Bible is a literal hell. And he backs it up by, I don't remember the exact words, but he said that basically the word in Hebrew was referring to an...
Gehenna.
Yes, it was referring to an actual place that was at that time
Right.
where people used to dump criminals.
That's right.
Right, and it was a fiery place, right? It was a lake of fire in a way, and it was just a poetic, kind of expression to describe it. And it's just later Christians not knowing about this, thought that this literally talking about some, spiritual place where people go to be tortured forever.
That's right. Yeah, there was a garbage dump, and that fire was going all the time.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much like an eternal fire.
There was a Hebrew word, Sheol, I think that's pronounced.
Sheol.
It had to do with the underworld or something, but there really wasn't much said about it in the Old Testament.
Sheol is, from my understanding, just means grave.
Yeah.
You have another word in Peter's writing. The word hell there is Tartarus, and that comes from it's just Greek mythology, cool, dry place.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, it all makes sense once you have knowledge about these contexts. It's literally, out of context about the way the Christian presents.
Yeah, it's like you mostly going by the King James version or translation, but from what I'm kind of understanding over time, some of the more important points of the theology has been lost in the translation, and they accept this different version as literal instead of what the original meaning might have been in the day.
Yeah. What the New Covenant group gave me is complete change of view on religion also, because before that, I really thought that religion is the source, this whole global situation that we now have. It's not a source. It's a negative consequence of a lack of education. It's pretty much all. Because if you do know about these topics, like, Dr. what's his name? The one on the New Covenant group.
Yeah, I can't think of his name. Jones.
Yeah.
He's one
a PhD, right? He has a PhD in linguistics. He knows the original Hebrew, and I think even Latin, if I'm not mistaken. So he knows this stuff, and he has a complete different interpretation.
Yeah.
What it is. and quite often I challenge the Christians, when they present to me this King James version and these their interpretations. I'm challenging them, and I will challenge them and say, hey, look, there is a Christian who knows this language, the original language, and he has completely different view of what the Christians that only speak English and can only look at the English Bible.
When I was kind of going through my questioning process, I met Jordan Day. He comes in here once in a while. We were both going through our deconversion at the same time, and he's a fellow deist now. But he helped me out a lot. He did a lot of videos at the time. They're not up anymore, unfortunately. But he is very fluent in Greek. He's able to read, write, and speak it. And he would point out certain things in the Bible, things that were missing or mistranslated, and he was definitely a different perspective on things. Even when I was a Christian, I would, if I was doing a Bible study, I would have my concordance. I think every Christian should have a concordance.
You mean the actual concordance from the Magic Sandwich with a guy?
The concordance, it translates every word in the King James Bible to either Hebrew in the Old Testament or Greek in the New Testament, and you get the meaning of the words. You can get one. Yeah, you can find one online probably free, but I have this big old book that I bought years and years ago.
I remember years ago this was a set of books. These were big books, and it was something like that, but it was this humongous set of books about Old and New Testament. I wish I still had that. That would be an amazing source to read.
Well, you have the internet now.
Yeah. The internet. eSword is supposed to be a very good resource as well. This is one of the things I guess I wanna. I can't believe we lost John. John was in here, Ocho.
Yeah, I think John was actually a fundamentalist Christian, so that would have been.
John, he's Catholic.
Oh right, yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Orthodox Christian.
Yeah, that's why I say, well, he's still a Christian.
Roman Catholic.
Yeah, I had discussions with him. Yeah, it's interesting. But he's pretty much on the same level as G-Man and Weapon, in my view.
Oh, I don't think so.
Well, not in a crazy stuff, but in the quality of the arguments, I would say, at least.
I actually think John gives a better argument.
Well, to be fair, I have not talked with him for a half a year, so probably gotten better. Well, I'm gonna look what G-Man is up to right now.
You're addicted to that. You're addicted to that G-Man drama. That's it.
Take you a Valium before you go in.
I'm going to start selling the shirts. I came up with a design. I'm going to sell shirts. I love G-Man drama, and I think I make a killing with all you guys.
Yeah, I saw that. I think you made a post, right? You
Yeah.
made a post about it. Yeah, so that was hilarious. Well, yeah, I don't know. It's just something that we all kind of. I don't know. It's kind of like watching, that famous.
It's like watching an accident.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Like the old clip. There's this famous clip that many movies use. Where there's this train going right, there's gonna crash. It's like watching
black and white.
Yeah. You still love watching this even after all this time because it's interesting. It's still interesting, to crash. Even though you know what's gonna happen, it's gonna crash. That's the fun part.
Well, go enjoy the G-Man wreck.
Well, I thought I might even be able to convince him to go here since his hangout is not open. He's just ranting. If you don't mind, of course.
Oh no, I don't mind. As long as he, doesn't get too crazy, and then that's when I boot people.
Airlock.
Yeah.
Yeah. He the last hangout that he was in, he got very, 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 very crazy and rude.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of atheists and a lot of obnoxious theists like Matthew Bell, who he has very bad what is it called, a relationship with. Essentially, they both think the other one is a worse representation of Christianity. It's kind of interesting. And in a way, they both are right. Well, G-Man is crazy, tells bad arguments. Matthew Bell, although he does good arguments and he's rational and tries to be logical and as rational as possible, he is also very rude and arrogant in how he handles himself, and quite often attacks the character of the people he debates or discusses with, rather than the arguments.
Matt Bell, is that the is he that bald-headed guy?
Yeah, with glasses.
Big crease in his forehead.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. I heard the name. I don't think maybe I don't know. I haven't seen a video of his. I'm thinking of someone else.
Well, trust me, if you knew him, you would remember. Definitely.
Okay.
But he's interesting to talk to, definitely. He has interesting views. Oh, Adam, hello. He's actually another guy who has interesting views, and he's an atheist.
Yes.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam.
What are you doing?
I've listened to Matthew Bell a few times in a few hangouts, and you're right, he is very rude at times.
Yeah.
Every now and then, though, he'll say something, and I'm like, well, that was a good point,
Oh yeah, like I said, he's logical, rational. He tries to be as much as he can, but he's an asshole. Fuck. Shit. So obnoxious.
Is that like me, John?
Nah. I keep you around, Rob.
All right, mate. All right. Just saw your quote there. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. It could also be said that harsh word stirs up the old ego too,
Oh yeah, that's the problem. I thought it was me at first because I saw some other people having good discussions with him, but then after watching some more videos, I realized it's actually him. He's being very, conflicting. He brings up the ego of the other person and his own ego, and it becomes very heated discussions.
Yeah, well, all those discussions usually there'll be ego in the mix from someone, one or the other.
Oh yeah.
But I think they're interesting times. There's when you've really hit an interesting topic that's worth exploring. The problem is though is that the ego, and this is how you know who the faulty party is. The ego person will be the one that's holding the wrong premise will be the first one out of the room, or the first one to aggression, or the first one to avoid all evidence and try and suppress an evidentiary discussion, if that's the right word. So there's some very telltale signs to pick up who's the one that's potentially the barrier to the knowledge-based discussion, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I agree to an extent, but there are kind of exceptions, and Matthew Bell is an exception because he has good arguments. Definitely, he's not afraid of evidence. He's not afraid of argumentation, and at the same time, he's arrogant and quite rude. Even
Who's that guy? Who's that guy?
Matthew Bell.
All right. And what is he, a theist?
Oh yeah, he's a theist. He was actually a young creationist at first.
Right.
Then he dropped it. He made some studies, as he claims, and he dropped that position, and now he's quite well versed in science and logic, rationality, etc. But he still is an asshole.
Hey, John, can you get him into a room with us? John,
I'm
can
sorry?
you get that? Hey,
I'm sorry?
can you get that guy into a room with us?
What guy?
John.
Guy Bell.
Matt Bell?
Yeah.
Oh.
I could do a search. I don't know.
Well, perhaps we could form a wolf pack and we can go hunting for him. John, you know what I mean.
Hunting down the theist.
No, join the wolf pack, mate. Hey, listen, I've got to go to that study thing, so I just dropped by to say hello, and I've got to keep moving.
All right,
So
good luck.
have a good day. Yeah,
Take
see
care.
ya.
See you later, Rob.
Bye. See you, mate.
Yeah, Adam, you wrote he's a smart guy. Yeah, he is a smart guy. No denying that. But he's also an asshole.
Yeah, I haven't really experienced that end of it, but I've only been in a couple
Oh,
hangouts.
you didn't have any discussions with him.
Yeah, probably just like 2 or 3. Actually, I don't know if I've really been in a discussion with him other than just watching the recorded hangouts.
Ah, right. Well, you can just try and argue something with him. You will see that he will be very passionate, very argumentative, and very, well, maybe not very, but arrogant in a way. And he often attacks your knowledge, your credibility, that is, instead of the argument. You know, he's going to ask you to, oh, you don't know this definition. Oh, you don't know what the Bible says. Oh, you're not well versed in this, in this debate about theism, atheism. You don't know even what the Bible says about this. You don't know this fallacy. You don't know logic, etc.
I see what you're saying.
You know, I might sometimes be also kind of like that when I'm with Beckel or true criticism, but I always try to be nice about it in a way. I always give him ample time to respond, maybe. Right. Well, it's difficult. Yeah, I know. I kind of understand, Matthew. It's difficult to be objective here. It's difficult to be calm when your beliefs are questioned. Right, but you have to always keep in mind that it is the, yeah, well, how to say it? It is it destroys the conversation, really. He alienates people unnecessarily.
That's not good.
Right. He alienated many Christians, not to mention atheists, who now will just kick him and block him whenever he gets in a room with them. All he had to do is just be nice about, well, not nice, but not arrogant, not that conflicting when talking to them. Yeah. A perfect example that I could think of, and I'm sorry, I know I'm rambling a little bit here, but you know Carlton, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. He's intelligent, eloquent, funny, And we were once in a hangout, just 2 of us. Oh, actually, there was another atheist from Scotland, and we had a Christian in hangout. She was obviously challenged, and I mean it in the nicest way possible. And she actually admitted, that she had some disorder. She had, some just problems thinking. Like
Right.
we didn't challenge her. We didn't. Gang up on her and said, oh, you have no justification believing that. Oh, you're just so stupid. Oh, you don't know this topic. Oh, you don't know what logic is. That's what Matthew Bell does. In contrast, we were basically just having a nice conversation, discussing, why it's maybe better to have good reasons for what you believe. And we never pushed her. It was a civil discussion. I think that's the main difference between having a productive, logical, philosophical, rational discussion.
Yeah.
And just, being an egomaniac in a way, like Matthew does sometimes. Well, anyway, that's my rant.
This person who was, you're saying was probably like mentally challenged. For her beliefs are probably more for social and emotional reasons. That to get that community, to get the support of other people, that's something that she needs, and she might not really understand, Christianity, why she believes it or anything. She just knows that, she's around some people that care about her, and she got some friends, it could be like that.
Right, yeah, I understand it perfectly.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that, not even a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes if you're in the right church or whatever, it can be a very good experience because the Southern Baptist church I went to for years, I have to say I had no issues with the church or the people because these were genuinely good, decent people. Even if if they weren't Christian, they would still be good, decent people. That cared for each other. And in a church, you're right about the sense of community because if you're with the right group of people, oh, it can be a great community of people that care about each other and want to help each other.
No, yeah, I think that's one of the main things that is missing in the non-believers sort of universe. Is this huge sense of community.
It's true.
And it may be because we cannot actually have any coherent, well, not coherent. Well, I think the problem lies that an atheist can be so many different things.
Oh yeah.
Right, an atheist can believe that there are lizard people in the government. He can believe there are UFOs here, just because by the definition of what an atheist is. Right. Although there are sort of different communities that are, filled with unbelievers. It's mostly skeptics, but even then, there are quite a few theists there.
I guess a lot would depend on where you're at too. In some places, it's
Oh,
probably
yeah,
easier to have a group of atheists or whatever that can get together and do stuff, and in other places, it's maybe not quite so easy. And another thing, like some Christians claim that atheism is religion. It's not a religion. We don't have a book. We don't have dogma. We don't have ceremony. We don't. There's a lot of things we don't have that are religion. That
Oh yeah, it's absurd, of course. Yeah, I think my favorite response to that is, oh, so I should be tax exempt?
Hey, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, we are after all a religion, right?
But see, like when people are in church, they kind of have that extra thing going. They have their religion to kind of bind them together as well. And when you get a bunch of atheists together, we don't have anything like that. Like you said, we are different. You get five atheists together, and you can get 5 different viewpoints about almost any subject.
Right. Yeah.
The only thing we have in common is we lack a belief that there are any gods. I mean, at least that's my understanding of it.
Right. Yeah. In a way, there is a huge advantage to that because we can always say that what that atheist did is not me, does not represent me, and it's absolutely true. So they cannot catch us as a group doing something bad.
Yes, but my understanding, I thought, hi you guys, I just came in.
Hey.
Welcome in.
Thanks, man. Hey, what's up? My understanding about like people who take the position of atheism, it's not supposed to be a community. I know there's certain groups out there like the one in Texas, I forget the name, but the atheist something. Yeah, and they form a community that way, but I don't think that was the main purpose of of atheism, if you want to call it that, but more of a position on theistic beliefs.
Oh yeah, I think they wanted basically the church experience without having all the dogma and all the claims of God, and they wanted the community.
Yeah, I experienced this when I was, when I get together with the Sufi community, and there's actually some people in the order that are actually atheists.
No kidding.
Yeah, and they practice with us, but they say no, I don't don't take that theistic approach, but they do the practice. So, and that's my understanding of it's just for me, it's just a position of something. Proposing, hey, I don't believe in this because of the evidence, and that's fine. But I don't know. I guess you could form an atheist community, but I don't think that was the main purpose or the main intent.
Yeah,
well, no, it's mostly just those of us that are atheists, it's a point that we arrive at, and it's separate from what anybody other people, but when you're a Christian or a believer or whatever your religion might be, a big part of it is being with other ones like that believe the same as you do to help you grow and stuff. and I probably said that badly. It's not like there's a place I can go, well, I need to be a better atheist. Can y'all help me and be with me and help me study and stuff? It don't quite work like that.
Yeah. Well, in a way, governments are sort of atheistic. Every well, no, well, that it's a difficult thing, yeah, to kind of organize an atheistic community. Because again, Dan, there are so many different opinions. People who call themselves atheists. I think a much better way, if any way, would be to make a community of skeptics. Even though
I've looked around in the paper and online for like an atheist group here, but there have been a few, but apparently they're not really active or anything.
well, they don't. Well, yeah. Damn.
And it would be the get-togethers would mostly be a social thing, where you get together and do stuff.
Well, then again, there are humanist communities, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or organizations.
I didn't think about looking under that name.
You can specifically maybe search for secular humanist communities.
Yeah.
Because those would be 100% atheistic. While humanist doesn't.
They have, I'm sorry. Yeah, they have meetups like in my area. I haven't gone to one. I've been wanting to. They'll have like free thinkers meetups, or like you said, humanist meetups and stuff like that. So. Yeah, there's and something, I never explored it, never went to a meeting, but if you go to like meetups.com and search your area, some people have organized this group. They'll get together at coffee shops or a library or something like that.
No, okay.
Oh, by the way, so if I may ask you, John, Josh, or brother, Dan, okay, what is your name? How can I call you?
John, you can call me John.
Okay, John, excellent. Well, are there any deist communities or deist, these churches?
No.
No?
There's not around my area, no.
But do they exist, like?
I'm sorry?
Do they exist somewhere?
I wouldn't say church per se, because then you're implying some kind of ritual, worship, religion, and that kind of thing. I'm sure there's maybe like a meetup, like I said before, but I've never come across one.
Universal Church might be about the closest you could get, maybe.
I actually visited for about. I went to a couple of Sundays. I did go to a. There is a Universal Unitarian church by me, and that was quite an interesting experience.
Universal Unitarian. That seems kind of redundant.
Yeah, that's the name of it. Universal. Yeah. Yeah. Well, just like born again Christian to me is redundant.
Right. I'm just joking.
I know. I hear you. But what was interesting, they'll have like people volunteer of different beliefs to share something from their belief system. They do have like a certain ritualistic thing. They have they use like the I forgot what it is. It's in it's a bowl. They like bang the bowl. I forgot what they call it.
Like something like Buddhism or something? Or?
Yeah, some. I forgot.
One of those Oriental things.
Yeah. So they would use that, and share a saying, and then they'll have their announcement. There was even sometimes worship. They'll have like a choir, very generic lyrics and stuff like that. Just giving thanks and stuff like that. But you had people from all different beliefs there, homosexuals there as well, so everybody was welcome. But I went there a couple of times. Hey, I left my information, and nobody ever reached out to me.
Oh.
Back, I was like, okay, I came by a couple of times.
Thank you for coming or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm curious. Green. He left.
Yeah, he had to go away for a moment.
He had a phone call, I think.
I wanted to ask him about Sufi.
Well, I actually talked with him just a few hours ago. Yeah, he's a sort of a cultural Muslim.
Now, I've heard of cultural Jews. They're not. Oh, let's see. It's their heritage. It's what they are, and it's not what the religion that they practice or anything. But it's what they are, though.
No, he's different. He actually.
If that makes sense. I mean, they still go to synagogue and all that, but they're not believers. So.
Well,
And apparently the Jewish, people in the synagogues where they have no problem with it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they don't have to, proselytize.
Yeah.
Adam's running the juicer. I have to get me a juicer. My wife wants a juicer. I have to get a good juicer.
It was actually, just a few, months ago. I just craved, orange juice, and I almost bought a juicer, and I said, nah, just gonna do it in the original. Oh, actually, yeah, I remember why. Because I actually got to taste the freshly squeezed juice from a juice machine. The kind of ones that you have for coffee and Pepsi cans and etc. In Czech Republic, in one firm, they had actually a machine that squeezes fresh oranges.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I got a taste of that, and it's not that good. So yeah, I kind of changed my mind back then. Well, anyway, yeah.
I love something about fresh squeezed orange juice. I like the pulp in it too.
Oh yeah.
I don't have enough of it, that's for sure.
So anyway, is anyone else coming? Like the
I don't know.
very argumentative Christians, perhaps.
You're looking for an argument, huh?
I'm kind of like that, yeah.
You want me to play Christian for you?
Oh my goodness.
I like the
I'll put my Christian hat on.
I prefer the original. If you feel that.
I saw a hangout one time. It had a J.D. Kane. Oh shoot, I can't. Oh goodness, I can't think of the other people's names. Anyway, it was a group of people, and there was like theists or Christians and theists and atheists, and they kind of switched roles. It was the hangout was something about what you don't do in a hangout or debate.
Oh, yes, I saw that video. Yes. J.D. King was kind of funny. He was playing the Christian part. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he worked that. He worked that good.
Yeah.
But it was so funny just watching and see what they was doing.
Yeah.
I think Ozymandias was in it.
But Ozzy was playing his character though. He wasn't.
Oh, he was. Oh, I don't remember that much about it. I just kind of glanced at it. So.
Yeah.
He was playing an atheist, basically. Yeah. Remember, it was what arguments people should not use, basically.
But isn't he an atheist?
Oh yeah, he's an atheist.
Yeah.
He actually helped Matt Dillahunty for his debate with Saitem Rudinke. He's a very, very well. How do you call it? Well, he was professionally trained as a philosopher, even though he didn't become a practicing philosopher.
No money in that.
I don't know what was his reason there. Well, but he's very, very educated on philosophy and these actually theistic arguments and the discussion. And interesting thing, Matthew Bell rarely touches it. He doesn't have. At least I didn't see any recurring discussions. As I'm told, he had once a debate with him on the Kalam, and at least according to some people, told me that Ozzy presented good reasons to reject it. That's what I heard. And when I was in a hangout, Matthew Bell really doesn't discuss with him, and and I'm kind of suspecting him that he knows that he's going to get his ass handed to him by Ozzy. You know, but that's just my bias, man. Yeah, but he quite often will challenge, you know, anyone who he knows that is not that, you know, well versed in this discussion. I know, it's kind of like what it seems to me. Well, never mind.
Yeah, I'm pretty much an amateur at a lot of this, like philosophy. I don't know nothing about no philosophy.
Oh, I'm the same. Yeah, exactly. I'm the same.
I hear you, Heavy. I gotta give me a book, Philosophy for Dummies, or something like that.
Yeah, well, I know a little bit about science, maybe not all that much, but I have a pretty good understanding of stuff. That helps.
Yeah. Hey, if you get that book, don't quote from it. It's going to impress a lot of people here, I think, especially Matthew Bell. Well, this argument is so sound, and this fallacy is such because I read it in a book called Philosophy for Dummies. Yeah, that's not gonna fly.
And then there's terms that people use when they're talking or discussing or debating or whatever that for a good while I had no clue what they were talking about, and I'm still trying to learn some of these things.
Yeah, I only learn about philosophy and argumentation from actually arguing and, you know, discussing philosophy. I've never read a book about it. I've read maybe a few articles and definitions. But mostly it's from, you know, experience, and I find it to be very useful. I can hold my ground against precepts, against most Christians, even Matthew Bell on occasions.
You know, like I start using words like straw man or
Well, a straw man is
absolute truth, and I'm like, what the heck is absolute truth got to do with it? Is there such a thing?
Well, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
precepts often do. Yeah, it's complicated. Well, they basically assert that unless you know the absolute truth, you don't know nothing. Unless you know everything, you don't know nothing, because there's a possibility of you being wrong. And I'm not sure how they exactly argue and how they think it follows, but yeah, that's basically what they propose. And the response to that is, we don't have to know everything. We don't have to know the ultimate truth. We can present what we think is true using logic, reason, and then test it with reality, which is what truth is measured by. And also presenting this argument to other people so that they can judge whether or not it's sound and valid, and if it conforms to reality. But, yeah, that's kind of the response that I gave, at least.
Oh, yeah. How do you know?
Going
what
in
you
a
know?
nutshell there. Very well. Yeah, very well said. Maybe Ozzy should do like a philosophy 101 class or something.
He actually does from time to time. Yeah, when he's in a hangout, people sometimes ask him, you know, oh, what's this concept in philosophy? Can you explain to us? And he's actually very interesting to listen.
Yeah, he's not shy a bit about explaining stuff to you.
Oh yeah, and he's good at it. You know, I actually learned quite a few things. And explains it clearly, without any ego, you know, involved, which I really appreciate. It's such a huge contrast just between, you know, these nice people who can still have an argument, and, you know, some of the more arrogant people. And I don't mean just Matthew Bell. And I actually include myself in that. Yeah, I'm also quite often arrogant, but I try to be aware of that and try to, you know, apologize and keep it civil, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway. Oh, by the way, there's also do you know guys Jason Burns, right?
Who?
I've heard the name, but I really don't know anything about him.
What's the name again, Art?
Jason Burns.
Jason Burns. Sounds familiar, but no.
He's quite famous. He's actually quite famous among atheists, especially the regular ones, you know, like JD, Alex, or whatever, just YouTube atheists, essentially. And he has actually a live hangout with some atheists talking about stuff. And to kind of, you know, give you a nutshell who he is a amateur. He presents arguments, and he's on the level of G-Man, pretty much. Yeah, well, I'm sorry, G-Man. We always compare the crazy people to you. I'm sorry. If you're listening, I apologize. I don't mean it in a bad way. This is
Hey, Art, do you remember Yoke Up?
Yoko?
Yoke Up.
Yoke up? No, no. What is that?
Okay, well, he was kind of he was the, you would say the early G-man of YouTube days. You
Really?
know, the radical Christian, the very outspoken and
No, I'm
turn or
actually
burn type, you know, and he used to get a lot of attention for a long time.
no. Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm actually here just a few years. I'm not
yeah.
that well
Good
versed.
stuff.
Yeah,
So
I've
he
only
left
really
right.
been involved for about maybe a year, if that.
Yeah.
Well, I've been around these parts since 2005, so
Don't brag, you bragger.
I came on YouTube thinking I was going to save the world for Jesus through my YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's probably what all Christians think.
Yeah,
And then
actually,
reality, and
Oh, sorry.
And
yeah,
quickly, over 2 years, I had my ass handed to me.
I was just about to say, and then reality slaps them.
And reality hit me, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like there's been several I've noticed that they come in and they're Christian and they're doing, the videos and stuff against us godless heathens, and then sometime later they're one of the godless heathens.
Yeah, quite often, yeah.
I didn't, my videos weren't like that. I was really concentrating on just
Spiritual?
encouraging Christians. I wasn't so much going, out to go against atheists. I mean, I was very unaware of atheists out there. I mean, I came across many atheists starting to come on YouTube because before that, in 3D world, I never came across an atheist. So my videos were more on just growing spiritually as a Christian, um, being Christ-centered, that kind of thing.
Uplifting.
Yeah, I was trying to be uplifting. So now I just try to do it through deism.
Well, you're doing a good job, yeah.
I try. Thank you so much.
And many deists actually really come off really nice. Not like most Christians.
I have the happy medium, that's the thing.
Oh yeah, just there's a God, but he doesn't want you to burn in hell.
That's it.
He just doesn't care about you. That's all. Which is better than a God that decides you go to hell. It's kind of interesting. I mean, if you were presented with the options, okay, do you want to flip a coin? And if it's heads, I will give you $1 million, and it's tails, you're going to be tortured. Would you take that, or would you go away? I think I'd go away. Well, what the heck?
Yeah.
It's just not worth it.
I could bring up a topic if you want something to talk about.
Well, yeah, sure.
Okay. I was just reading briefly in New York City. They just I think they overturned some decision. They're not allowing a particular church or a number of churches to use the public schools for their services. I think they're denying them now. From my understanding, that New York City may be the only, or just one of a few states that do not allow churches to, rent out space, public school space. And I believe it's it's done on the weekends. It's not done during school time. So I don't know. Maybe you want to throw your thoughts about that. You think they should be able to do it or not?
Well, so they were denied using schools for religious services, right?
Yeah.
For free, or did they offer to rent it?
No. They actually do pay, but it was obviously cheaper than having to rent a regular place or have their own. So So in a way, it was beneficial for the church and beneficial for the school because they get some kind of income, extra income.
Well, I don't know. That sounds well. Depends. Are there any other locations that I could rent, perhaps?
Well, I'm sure they're just more expensive.
Huh.
Or they don't have the space. I think this group was like 250 people they had.
Damn, it's tough to even consider that. I mean, I guess it doesn't violate any rules specifically that I know. It's not presenting a a religion. Or, it's because they pay for the school, so they're not supported by the school, and thus they're not presenting any religion over the other as a state religion. I would say. Then again, I don't know. There might be some problems. Even people seeing them in a school. I don't know. Well, I guess I don't see a problem with it. That's my view.
I guess I think the issue is using a public taxpayer place for,
Yeah, well, if they pay for it, and if the price is good, maybe a little bit lower than the market, that's okay. It depends how cheap they get it. Right? That's what I would like to know. If it's like 50% off, then that seems unreasonable. That's all I wanted to say. That's it.
see if I could pull up the article.
I'm sorry, I don't have any topics. I'm actually used to people more talking. Do you have any more topics, John?
Not off the top of my head. I was trying to find that article. I'm coming across these other things. Quadriplegic denied wedding by church.
Really? Why?
Let's see. This is from 1982.
Holy shit. Okay, that's not exactly current, is it? There's a good chance the pastor is dead by now. Or if it's a Catholic church, he's probably in jail for molesting some kids. Okay.
Oh, this is okay. Wow. Wait a minute. Yeah, oh, you know why? You know why they were denied a wedding?
Why?
This is interesting. This guy Jose Sosa, 28 at the time, he injured his spine in a diving accident 4 years prior. So though he can use his arms and his hands, he was paralyzed from the chest down. So according to the church here, basically, I'm quoting, basically the church law is that in order for the Roman Catholic Church to recognize a sacramental marriage, it must be consummated. So since this guy is paralyzed at chest down, he can't consummate the marriage, so that's why they were denied a wedding there.
Wow. That's fucked up. No. I didn't know that they have to actually fuck to get married. That's news to me. That's kind of like this old, Game of Thrones shit. Like the old traditions. You have to fuck. You have to fuck the bride, unless you're not married. That's some medieval shit right there.
Yeah. Well, isn't it a Jewish tradition too? They used to have like.
Oh yeah,
They
Oh,
put them in a
yes.
tent and they would keep them. Their honeymoon would be like a month long or something like that, and you had to kind of have like a witness to, or at least overhear what's going on or something.
Really? Wow. Damn, I'm learning so much here.
Um, Man, I wish I had. I wish we had John back in here, the Catholic, to address that.
Yeah. It's
And perhaps,
unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we all are basically against Catholics. It's a counterpoint is always needed.
so maybe that's a good topic. We'll open up a room today. Is consummation necessary for marriage?
You know, actually, it might attract Matthew Bell. I think he's a Catholic or something close to that. Well, anyway, yeah.
Well, I guess they would say yes. I mean, in a way, because that's the union is happening. That's the two becoming the one, and
Right.
you know. I don't know.
That seems cruel. I mean,
It's cruel, yeah. That couple's probably atheist now.
yeah, I would not be surprised. I mean, their God has caused him, to be essentially, because he's responsible for everything, right? So he caused him to break his spine in a way, right? And then he's denying him to get married. What the heck? Jeez, that's yeah. See, that's when the true colors, I think, show of some religions in these tough situations. It's that they happen to be mostly in line with human flourishing and culture, the nice treatment. But when you get to the details, it's fucked up in many cases. And this is already the revised version of Christianity. And they are already a liberal, so to speak, religion in many ways. Compared to the shit they did before, I don't know, what is it, 1,000 years ago? Oh. Okay, see how you have a
Oh no, I was just saying I just got back. I had to. That's why I was on mute. I had something I had to do. My roommate was showing me something on America's Got Talent about a black guy. He was a magician. He called himself a bar magician, and he was doing some magic tricks. And they were like, "Wow, the guy was awesome."
Oh, okay.
Well, that's on. It's on now over there.
No, he. My roommate had it on his DDR, whatever you want to call it.
Does he know about YouTube?
He records a lot of stuff and then watches it later.
Yeah, okay. It's probably on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I've been watching the show. I don't know if it might be on it tonight.
Yeah, I don't know when he recorded it, but he wanted me to take a look at it before he erased it. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Hey,
Okay,
before we go along,
topic.
John, wait, before you go along, John, do you know Jim Gardner?
I came across him once.
Do you have him in your invite list because he's having a hangout right now? Maybe we can merge them.
He's having a hangout.
Jim Gardner is having a hangout. Along with two atheists, I think. Yeah.
Wait a minute. I don't understand. Are you saying? Do you want me to invite him, or is he having?
Yes.
I believe I added him. I will check. Let's see.
No. Well, I think he has atheists there anyway, so yeah, it's.
What's his YouTube name?
Jim Gardner. That is his YouTube.
Jim Gardner?
Yeah.
Jim Gardner, yeah.
Oh, I was looking at Gene Gardner. Got a guy that plays auto harp.
No.
That's probably pretty cool, though.
Yeah, he's an atheist and he's relatively well known in the atheistic YouTube community. He had a debate with Saito and Rubincat, actually. Nothing to of them.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've been in hangouts with him before.
Right. And he's also with Alex Barton.
I think he's British as well, I think. Or Scottish, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I always confuse the Scottish and the, what's the other? What's the other?
Well, Scottish and Irish.
Yeah, I kind of confused those two. He might be one of those. Yeah. Or maybe British. Anyway. Well, I don't, maybe you could send an invite, John.
Sure.
Even though it, might not matter that much because he's an atheist and we are still going to be preaching to the choir, so to speak here.
It sounds like we're just mostly just chilling out anyway, just talking about stuff.
Yeah, actually.
No particular topic. Heavy, did you hear what we were talking about before?
No, I was away for about, I don't know, about 10 minutes, I think.
I was trying to look up for that. Well, I was bringing up about New York City that church has been denied using public school on the weekends to have their services. They were doing it for a while, and I guess now they can't do it, and now they're going to try to appeal to the Supreme Court. And I was looking for the article, and I came across another article back in 1982. This quadriplegic and his fiance wanted to get married in the Catholic Church, but since they were denied because since he was paralyzed from the chest down, he could not consummate the marriage. So therefore, he was denied any kind of wedding. You believe that?
Okay, well, you just never know what people might come up with, you know? Just because he can't do a lot don't mean she can't.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was about to take that go somewhere with that, but I'm not.
It's okay.
Apparently, it probably wasn't a problem for them.
I don't know.
Sorry, oh well. Anyway, yeah, that's bad.
Well, if he's paralyzed, I don't know. Maybe he can't have an erection. He ain't gonna feel anything down there. There's all the nerves are shot.
Well, I don't know. Some things probably work on instinct anyway.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm just sort of being a little in the gutter here.
It's all right.
Ooh, what does it do when I do this? Oh my! Yeah, there are so many channels on YouTube by atheists and other people. I'm already over 100, I think, of ones that I'm subscribing to.
I hear you.
Yeah, I may have to go through and just start taking a few back out.
Yeah, I got a whole number of, sometimes I'll subscribe to a channel because maybe I like the video, and then just to find out that most of the other videos they do are not related or topics I'm not interested in.
Yeah, that's probably what I may have to do is just cut back to some of my absolute favorites and then go from there. I think one of my you've heard of Wildwood Claire?
Wildwood Claire, no.
She's a geologist, and her channel is Wildwood Claire 1, and she'll have she'll be talking about geology and stuff, and then sometimes she'll be talking about creationists and how batshit crazy they can be. On some of them, and she'll have an award thing. She'll say, "Okay, today's candidates are," and she'll show a few. But I think sometimes I think she just does stuff for fun. But she's really a geologist, though, and a lot of the scientific stuff and all she talks about is really good to watch. And this was pretty much an education. That's the one thing I've noticed about hanging around the atheists here on YouTube and being in on the hangouts and discussions and stuff. It's definitely an education. You're going to learn something.
Right.
And I'm still learning stuff.
You'll, well, hopefully you'll be learning. We'll be learning to the day we die, right? Always something to learn.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like I got something in my tab here. I got to look at more because when somebody spurs something on the conversation, I'm gonna go look into it, and then you could go into all these different tangents after a while. But I mean, I'm coming across sites about the Babylonian text now that I want to something I want to read into, um, which led me to a book here. I have it right in front of me. It's called um, "The Doctrine of Sin in the Babylonian Religion." This book is written like, oh God,
Oh, I never heard of that.
yeah, this is like written in the 1900s, isn't it? Early 1900s. Um, it's free online. It's on the internet. The Internet Archives.
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, well, here I'll give you a link, but you can search other things there as well. Archive.org. I mean, if you want to see old movies, stuff that's past copyright, things that are just free domain.
Oh, is this also stuff that shows web pages and sites that don't exist anymore? Is this a site?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I haven't looked at that site in a while. I don't know if you can do it on here.
Oh, okay. This is PDF format too, isn't it?
Yeah. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not.
I went ahead and threw that in, bookmarked it. We'll take a look later.
Yeah, maybe if you go to the main page, archive.org, there might be something about like what you're talking about.
Yeah. Most of, if you want to call it research, is watching YouTube videos and going to Wikipedia or looking up things online. I'm just not that big into buying books.
Mhm.
But some people may put down Wikipedia and other sources as not being really good. I kind of disagree. There's some really good information out there. Sometimes you have to be kind of careful where you're at and what you're reading, just to be sure you're not getting a biased opinion about it.
Yeah. That's why when those Wikipedia articles, most of the time everything has some kind of reference in the footnotes in the bottom, and
Yeah.
you have to double check where they're coming from.
I think one of there's several things I want to look up and learn more about. It's like chromosomes, like just what the heck are they? What is it? What it's made of and the different parts and what does what. I mean, that's a good bit there, but I'm slowly looking up stuff on that and just trying to get used to the terminology and what the heck they are. I mean, I know. I mean, I grasp the concept, but a lot of the finer details I really don't know.
I hear you. I'm like that.
Yeah, it's like you on one level you do understand what they're talking about, but you could not understand it so much more if you knew some of the basics.
Right. Or stuff I can understand it, but I can never repeat it.
There you go.
It's in my brain, If you could read my mind, you'd understand what I'm saying.
And like what's her name? Fiona Robertson. She's a biologist. Sometimes she'll be talking about biology and genetics and stuff that she's actually done, on her job and all. And she'll be explaining it, and a lot of the people in the hangout would gets what she's saying, and I kind of get a grasp on it, and I go, I think I got it, maybe.
Yeah, she had the last videos. She did the hangouts about what is it,
Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, I'm trying to kind of name
Science, Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right. Well, I'm trying to figure out what is she actually attacking, or what is she trying to refute? Creationism, I guess.
Well, I think what it is, Okay, like we started out with the science of the flood.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
and I think what it is like you have certain groups like young Earth creationists or literalists of the Bible, and it's a new tactic where they're trying to explain where they're coming from by using established science to explain a young Earth and stuff like that, and it's not working. and like with the flood. Okay, if we look at, and they would try to explain the flood scientifically, like Ken Ham and his museum up in Kentucky. I think you've heard of him.
Oh yeah.
yeah, him. And so he's trying to take a scientific approach to this, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, he's the guy who thinks that that there is this observational science, and then there's the historical science.
Yeah, and he's like, it's just one of the things they're trying to use to make them look legit or something. I don't know. That's so weird.
No, he actually makes him look really dumb because no scientist actually hold this. There is no distinction between.
Yeah.
It's what creationists make it up to excuse all the evidences against the young Earth.
Yeah. So what Fiona's doing is she's just looking at some of these claims where they're trying to use science to explain certain events in the Bible, and so she gets, she's got this good group of people together, and you've seen them. These are some brilliant people.
Oh yeah.
And so I said, okay, well, let's go with the flood. Let's see, how much water would it take to flood the Earth up to Mount Everest or whatever? And someone actually sat down and figured out how many cubic miles of water. They were trying to go, well, where is all this water coming from? They're talking about the fountains of the deep. There's got to be all this water under the Earth, and there's all this water in orbit or something, and they're trying to figure out, well, how is that going to work scientifically,
Yeah, and no surprise it doesn't.
Yeah.
It might only seem on the first glimpse that, okay, that's somewhat makes sense, but when you go deep into science,
yeah,
it just falls apart. Just holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, well, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, and then they did I think it was Somebody's Long Day. There was Joshua. I think there was a huge battle, and according to what was written down, God stopped the sun from setting, and they fought for a very, very long time. So they got, okay, well, let's see, scientifically, can this happen? Or what would happen, the results of the Earth suddenly stopping rotation? Of course, it would be a disaster, but...
And it's funny that it says, stop the sun and not the Earth.
Yeah.
Because that's what actually happened when the Earth was rotating. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and then the last one was Sodom and Gomorrah. What if an event like that happened, naturally or scientifically, how would it happen?
Yeah, but the atheist also has the God did it escape hatch.
Well, I think some might have even tried to explain it scientifically.
Oh yeah, they do. But when you point out an error in their models, in their scientific models, quite often they will just say, well, God could have done it. God is like, oh, yeah, but...
Well, what happened to the science he was trying to use?
Yeah, that's one problem. The other one is that the theist, when he does that, young Earth creationist, especially when he does that, he actually gave up like 80% of all the criticism that 80% of all the ammunition they have against the other religions like Islam, because many arguments against Islam are also based on science and how Islam contradicts science, how the Quran contradicts science. So by doing that, they have lost this ammunition, because a Muslim can always say, well, Allah made that. Allah could do that, right? So it's not a conflict. So that's another problem. And there are many, of course, different problems.
Yeah, I remember Fiona asked us in that first one. She said, which do you think would be the more honest answer? For a Christian to say that, whatever the miracle was, like the flood or whatever, that God did it, using His power, as God. or that somehow it was scientifically done using this whatever science they're trying to use. And I think a lot of us said that we would accept the answer that God actually did do it, and there was no science involved. As God, He could circumvent the natural laws of that He had established.
Right. All they can say
It was like a more honest answer, I think, than trying to explain it away using science, trying to hedge it and fudge it and stuff.
or they can say it's just symbolic. It never happened. It's just about the truth of the story itself, the moral. What is it called? Uh,
Yeah, you can draw morals from it, or a morality tale, or
right. Well, because that,
or like
that
a
is
parable,
actually,
maybe, or something.
right. Yeah. But actually, that's according to most scholars. I think that's what the original authors had in mind when they wrote this, because that's how it really looks like, at least.
Yeah, it was express a religious truth or something.
Yeah. It just can have a what is it? There's a word for it in English. It's kind of the uh, point or a moral or well, it's a hypothetical situation basically. These authors were providing a hypothetical situation where there is a point to learn something, the principle itself to learn, not that the story was actually describing actual events that happened. Right.
It'd be like the parables that Jesus had, where they wrote the ones that they wrote down saying that He did. They were simple stories, but they express, morality or a religious truth or something. They were said in a way where you could understand the truth or whatever better.
Right.
Or the outcome or something.
Exactly. Well, as interesting as this discussion is, I think I'm going to go to Jim Gardner's hangout. He's having a Jason Burns hangout, so to speak. He's going to talk about it. Maybe I could add add my few cents to it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't really know that much about that Burns guy, so I wouldn't be able to add anything to it.
Well, I kind of have a sort of almost a problem, you could say, the way actually atheists treat him, because the guy is obviously challenged intellectually and just mentally, but then many of the atheists almost bully him, and I like to maybe present this idea to them. Maybe they will stop it. Well, anyway,
okay, you take care, and it's good talking to you.
Yeah, I just want to say, is James here? Or John, I'm sorry.
He said over on the side he's going to get a bite.
No, yeah. Okay, well, tell him I say goodbye.
Huh?
Yeah, tell him that I say goodbye.
Oh, okay, I'll hang here for a bit until he gets back.
Well, you know what? Never mind. No, you don't have to hang here. If you want to leave, if you're about to leave too.
No. I was just saying, I'm not really into anything else, so I'll just hang here.
Oh,
yeah. He should be back pretty soon.
Okay, well, take care, guys.
You too.
Sorry it took so long.
All right. Art had to go. He said to tell you take care and thanks for having him and stuff.
He was going for that G-Man drama, right?
Well, maybe either that or the Richard Carrier thing. That's on right now too. Over at New Covenant Group.
Wow, is that on now?
Yeah. Yeah, when he left, I told him I'd hang here a little bit until you got back.
You know what? I don't know. Unless is Green? Are you still in the room or?
He hasn't came back yet. Did you want to go ahead and just shut it down?
I think I'm going to shut it down because
All right.
I'm going to be interested in going to see that.
Oh yeah, but I just thought I'd just hang here a little bit and let you know.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, catch you later, dude.
Yeah, maybe we'll see you later. Maybe I'll open up a room later.
Okay.
All right, man.
Bye.